Hi, Joanna. How are you doing
Hello.
today? Hi. I see you have our friend Bananas here today. Can you tell us a little bit about Bananas?
I'd love to tell you about Bananas. He's just a delightful bird. He's just as sweet as can be. They called me from the Santa Cruz Medical Center, or let's see, is it called? Anyway, they called me in October, and he had been found on the street. They didn't know whether he'd been hit by a car or whether he'd flown into something. He was pretty badly injured and concussed, had a bruising on his face, some feathers missing, and was not able to stand. He would fall over. So when I first got him, I kept him in a low cage, with a towel on the bottom. And he was taking pain meds at that time, but he has recovered from that. He's doing just great. Um, and so I don't know how old he is, but he's healthy. He's a big bird. He's a big, beautiful bird, aren't you? You can come up. You know what he's doing over here? He's chewing through this perch. And so I've tied popsicle sticks on it. And those he thinks are great to chew on also. So that's what he's looking for over here.
I see. Okay. So you mentioned that he was in that accident, and that was a little while ago. Looks like he came to us in October of 25. So it's been
Right.
some time since he went through the treatment. Does he have any lingering special care that he requires?
No. And when I brought him home, they wanted for a little while to give him some pain meds, but that only lasted for about a week. He just once he settled in here,
Hmm.
he didn't seem to be in pain at all, and so they said I could stop that. So since then, he's active and he's a cheerful bird. I think they should have named him Cheerios instead of Bananas, but because he's just such a happy little guy.
Okay.
So no special medications, no special cage or anything.
Hmm. Okay. And we mentioned that he's a he. How do we know in a cockatiel that a bird is a male?
Well, he is a non-designated. So he's not a Lutino. He's not a normal gray, but the, from the size of his crest and also his activity and the songs that he sings. Um, he has the actions of a male. I don't know that he's been specifically sexed. They did, let me see, let me look at from the vet. They did say male as a male cockatiel. So I don't know whether they sexed him and determined that when he was at the Santa Cruz veterinarian, but he certainly acts like a male.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think I would agree as well. Particularly the orange patch on the cheeks there is particularly prominent.
Yeah.
And we said that we didn't know exactly how old he is, and of course, when rescue birds come to Mickaboo, they don't come with a medical history
Mhm.
all the time, particularly birds that are involved in a potential car accident. What would you say though about the life expectancy of cockatiels generally?
Well, in the wild, the expectancy is around 15 years, but in captivity, they can live up to 30 years.
Hmm.
So, tw 20 to 30 years, I think, is probably an average
Yeah.
for a cockatiel.
And on bananas, I can't quite see the feet. You can sometimes tell whether a bird is particularly young or particularly old by looking at how scaly or pink the feet are. Have you been able to take a good look at that?
Well, his feet are pinkish. They're not gray. Um, they, I don't think I could say definitively how old he is. He acts young. He doesn't act old.
Okay. So probably in the first half of his life.
I would think at
Okay.
least, yeah, even possibly younger, I would think.
Okay.
He's not tame. But having said that, what I mean to say, he's not hand tame. So if I put my hand in the cage, he won't come to it. But when I take my other bird out and give her some scratches, he then wants that too. And so he's very good about me picking him up with a towel around his back. And then I hold him on my chest and give him scratches. And I'm working on having him step up. But I've had to take it slowly because
Mhm.
he was traumatized when he first
Yeah.
came here. So I'm just giving him his space and time. I think he will eventually step up because he's not frightened when I clean his cage and put my hands in there. He's not frightened, but he doesn't quite want to step up yet.
Okay. How is he with younger people?
I have a 6-year-old grandson, and when he
Oh,
comes after school 3 days a week, I let him feed the two birds. They get 8 Cheerios each, and both of the birds just come right over to him. So Bananas is not frightened of him at all. He interacts with him and chatters to him. So that seems to be fine with children.
great. Okay. And he's good with adults that he's not familiar with?
Yes. Yeah, he hasn't seemed frightened.
Okay. And he's in his cage. Can you tell us what the dimensions of his cage are?
I can. This cage is um, 33 inches high by 24 by 17.
Okay. And whenever we're talking about cages, bar spacing is that fourth dimension that is so important.
Yeah, these are the closest bars. I don't know what the measurement is. It's there, but it's you can see my finger.
Well, you gave to me before that you thought it was 3/4 of an inch apart.
I guess I must have measured it then, but it's close. I mean, he couldn't stick his head in
And that's
and
the
even get
main
my
thing.
finger in. So.
Yeah. Does he have favorite toys?
Well, right now it seems to be those popsicle sticks. Look at him go to town on that thing. I'm gonna
Oh,
have to get a rope perch for him because he's gonna chew through that one. So he likes that. I have other toys that he likes. I do put foraging toys in for them. I didn't do it today because I usually put it on the floor of the cage because cockatiels um, in the wild do feed on the ground. So I didn't want him down on the ground while we were filming, but
mhm.
he loves that. He loves his mirror. There's a little mirror on the other side of the cage, and he sings to that and sings every day. Just chatters and talks to his mirror. So yeah, he does like that a lot.
Okay. And you said talk. Of course, all
Oh.
birds speak bird very fluently. Does he do any imitation of the English language or other, non-cockatiel sounds?
No, he has his own little language, and I interpret what he's saying. We have little conversations.
That's absolutely fair. And besides the toothpicks there that he's making, what does he like to eat? I mean, what's his diet?
I feed him the Lefever's Avocakes and Supreme pellets. He loves carrots and crispy snap peas. I give them greens. He likes apples. So he has a varied diet, but the basis of it is the avocakes and the supreme pellets.
Okay. And Supreme tends to come in a couple different varieties, at least. There's the natural colored ones, and then there's the colored ones. Does he have a preference?
I buy the colored ones just because they seem to like to choose different colors. I've seen that with other cockatiels that they seem to set on a favorite color. So I don't know. I just think it's more stimulating to them, essentially.
Okay, fair enough. I think we have a general recommendation for the natural colored ones, particularly since the poop tends to get colored by the color of the pellets and can throw one off a little bit there. Okay, in the last minute or so of this particular interview, What else would you like to tell a potential adopter who's considering bananas?
Well, bananas is a very social bird, so I really think it would be important for him to be with other birds with whom he could socialize. As I said, my other little female just is not interested at all. I think he'd be a really good companion bird, but I do think it would be good, almost essential for him to be with other birds. He seems uh, really to need that. He's very gentle. He's not aggressive in any way. He's friendly. Um, I think he's just a delightful bird.
Okay, and I'll mention here that it is indeed Mickaboo's policy that a bird like a cockatiel, and we have the same policy for budgies, need to be adopted into a situation where there's at least one other friend. So if the potential adopter did not have any cockatiels, we would say, let's find Bananas a friend to be adopted into that new home simultaneously. If they had a single cockatiel, because perhaps their other friend had passed away in that
Mhm.
new home, then we could do a single adoption out with the understanding that bananas would become part of that new pairing.
Yes, I think that would be a
Yeah,
very good situation.
indeed, that's what we do. All right. Well, thank you so much, Joanna, and
Oh,
thank you,
thank
Bananas, for
you.
posing for us. You beautiful little bird there. And we'll let everybody have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.